Hey everyone, Mr. Kaufman here. Time for another virtual art lesson. And today's lesson is going to be called Tracing Shapes and Adding Texture to them. So where are we going to find these shapes? Well, we're going to look around our world, our homes, wherever you are, and find shapes to trace. So for instance, like this box right here is a perfect rectangle shape. And a lid makes an excellent circle. There's a box of baking soda. You can use the one side over here for a rectangle or a square on that side. And roll of tape. So you never know what you're going to find. So the first part of the lesson is to search and look for things to trace. Make sure they're big, but not too big. And the second part of the lesson, we're going to work with texture. So with that, let's get started on searching for some shapes. Okay, it's time to start looking for some shapes that you can trace. So you want to look through cabinets, look for things that are circles or squares, things that are flat, something that's big. You don't want anything too small because it won't trace very well. Be sure to ask your mom and dad or whatever adults in your house permission before you start taking things off your shelves and tracing them. So keep searching, looking. Oh, here's that box of baking soda, which has a rectangle on this side and a square on that side. And so look around. The fruit over there, probably not a good idea to trace that. Not flat enough, but big enough. And here's a cup. That would be a good thing for a circle. Now this object looks a little small, so I wouldn't take anything that's tiny for this lesson. And moving right along over to the shelf over here. This is probably going to be too three-dimensional, won't trace very well, so don't use that. Oh, a picture of my daughter and me. And what else we got here? So whatever you can find. Oh, here's a disc for a Wii game. That's a perfect circle. Make sure you don't scratch it. And a case for a video game makes a nice big rectangle. What else we got? This is a rectangle, but way too small, so I wouldn't use anything smaller than that. And oh, a video game controller. No, not a good thing. Not a simple geometric shape. Neither is that sculpture. But let's take a look inside here. Here's a CD case. Nice square right there. That's perfect. So this part of the lesson is searching and looking for shapes that you can trace. Keep looking. Oh, right over here is a little bowl. It's got some things in it though. We'll eat those later, but we'll use the bowl. Perfect if you trace the flat side. Okay, shapes are gathered up. It's time to make a design with these simple shapes. We got a circle, nice big rectangle, found a roll of tape. What shape is that? Circle. And even found a Lego that's big enough. You don't want anything that's smaller than this for this lesson. Okay, so we'll start off by tracing this rectangle, this box from a Nintendo Switch game. Find lots of things around the house. And one of my favorite Nintendo Switch games, The Legend of Zelda. And now the next step is to start tracing over your shapes. Start overlapping. So you want to overlap. Start to create this design, otherwise known as your composition. So pencil up against it really tight. Obviously you want to trace the bottom side because you can't get your pencil around there. And then fill your paper up until you've completely filled it with shapes that are overlapping. Tip them, turn this way. Ooh, look at that. Creates a different shape. Okay, you want about 5, 6 until you feel like you have enough shapes on there. just a reminder, you don't use anything like this because this is a glass and it's dangerous. So find things that your parents will allow you to trace. Let's see, how about this Lego? I want to make sure that it's overlapping, because what you're doing when you're overlapping is you're creating new and interesting shapes. So all these interesting new shapes because of that overlapping. Let's see, feels like I need about one, maybe two more. Be really careful with this because it's a CD. And take a good long look at your design. Ask yourself, did you fill the page? If so, you're ready to move into the second step, which is what I'm going to call texture. So there's actually several types of textures that you can use. Texture is the way something feels. You've got a texture called hatch mark, making lines like this. You've got cross hatch marks, where you make lines like this and then you cross over them. You've got stipple, which is making little tiny dots. This can all be done with pencil. If you have crayons, you can certainly use crayon. You've got the scribble effect. Yes, that is a texture. I'll try to use that one. And you've got another one that you might want to use for the small one, which is taking the pencil like that and then smudging it with your finger. Alright, so I'm going to try to model that on all these shapes. So I'm going to start with something right here. I'm going to find a new shape right in here, and I'm going to create a hatch mark. Make it all nice and even. You don't want to put two textures next to each other that look the same. You want different ones. So in this little shape, I'm going to put stipples. If you're going to draw something that looks kind of bumpy, this is a perfect texture. Or sand. It takes a while to do stipple too, so I wouldn't recommend doing this on something, on one of the bigger shapes. Okay, and we'll just move over here. You can skip around. This is an interesting little shape right there. And we'll do the smudge effect. First we'll fill it up with some pencil. And really carefully taking my finger and smudging it. Now if you go outside of the shape, you can take your eraser and clean it up. And if you're going to make a tree or a bush, the scribble effect is perfect. But you want to fill it all the way up. Clearly that's not done. There you go. Turn your paper around, look at it from different sides. Let's see. This is a very large shape here, so I'm going to do something that's pretty simple. I think I'll just do some hatch marks again. And I want you to notice how big this shape is and where it ends. Going like this, and then over here, goes all the way up in the corner. And it continues on this side. Just keep going until you keep filling in that shape entirely. Okay. And if I wanted to turn it into a cross hatch, I would go the opposite way. Same thing. Fill in the shape completely. Now you can leave some areas blank. Not every shape has to have a texture on it. Sometimes it looks good to have an area that's blank. Like I might leave this one blank, but put a texture on that one. And I'm running out of texture ideas, so I'm going to use the hatch mark here. Let's see, I'll leave that blank. I'm going to put stipples here. I don't want to put two textures next to each other that are the same. I want them all different next to each other, otherwise they would blend in. I'll leave that one blank, I'll leave that one blank. And I'm going to turn my design around, see which side looks best. This one right here. And do another hatch mark. Take your time. And taking a look at it, it feels like I got a lot of hatch marks. I'm going to turn it into a cross hatch mark. I'm taking a big look at this, asking myself, anywhere else on this design I want to change something. It looks like a lot of these look the same. This shape looks the same as this, is the same as that. So I want to maybe change this one right here. We'll give that a smudge. Fill it in first. And we'll smudge it with the finger. Maybe a little bit darker than that one. Clean up the edges if any go over out of the shape. And then turn it around. Looks like a complete product. I'll put my name right here. JK with a circle. And we'll call this project done.